What's going on? My name is NFT Flenny, and today we'll be going over Ned Natram's Twitter thread, going over 20 reasons to love the Veve and Ecomi projects. I know I'm a little bit late to the party. This thread came out a few days ago, but I've been really busy with a lot of things going on. I haven't had a chance to touch on it yet, but I still wanted to give my thoughts, my opinions, and expand on this great thread that Ned Natram made. As you guys may have seen on Twitter, the 28th was my 2-year anniversary with my girlfriend, and she made me a couple gifts. So here's the first painting with the Veve and Ecomi rocket going to the moon, with the moon also being the Ecomi logo. I thought that was a pretty cool touch. This one looks super sick. And here we have a painting based off of my NFT Flenny logo, with the bottom portion being open so I can model some collectibles under there. And I'll show you guys an example of that right now. And I'll be keeping these bad boys up here for your guys' viewing pleasure during my videos. I just had to show those off really quickly because I love them a lot, and I just really appreciate her supporting my Veve and Ecomi addiction. Before I get into it, I just want to say, everyone please follow Ned_Natram on Twitter. This guy is just a great resource to follow if you're into Veve, if you're into Ecomi. He does great threads like this one. He's just an overall great person to follow if you're in the Veve and Ecomi community. So shout out to Ned for sure. Off the bat here, we of course have the licenses. I think this is what draws investors in the most, investors like me. This really caught my attention the first thing I saw. Like I said in my first video, the first thing I saw when I went onto the Veve website was Batman. And like I also said in that video, as a crypto investor, you don't usually see these big, well-known brands being associated with crypto projects, working directly with crypto projects. So these brands are just insane. As we can see in the picture just already, Jurassic Park, Marvel, Ghostbusters, DC, NFL Players Association, DaVinci, Capcom. I could read all of them, but those are the biggest ones, I think. I've never seen a crypto project work with so many high-level, well-known, popular brands before. Not only do I think that this will bring in other investors, I think this is great leverage and great credibility to get more licenses and more brands in the future. If you walk into Marvel and be like, hey, we're starting a new app, you want to join? They're going to laugh you out of the room. But if you say, hey, we're starting a new app, we have DC, we have Cartoon Network, we have Capcom, they know those companies are established. They know what they're doing. They know they did their research. They did something to be able to trust Veve and use them, work with them. So off the bat, that gives them credibility to expand their internet empire. Now I say that like they have more licenses, more brands that they want to get, but we have heard David say that there's not a license that he wants to have that he doesn't have. So, and he's worked with Pokemon, Alfred Kahn's worked with Nintendo, there have been links to Disney and Pixar if you've been researching this stuff. So I think they already have everything. They probably have already leveraged this info for future brands, but in case there's more that they want, they have all the leverage that they could ever want and all the credibility that they could ever want. Next up, we have this incredible team. Going from left to right, we got Reese, Alcon, Dan Crothers, David Yu, Joseph Janik, and Michael Duffy. So all of these guys, they're experienced, they're wise, they're transparent, they're open. We got Reese with communications, always filling in the community, always keeping us up to date with what's going on behind the scenes. Got Alcon, master licenser, been in the game forever, literally in the licensing Hall of Fame. And yes, that's a real thing. We got Dan, just cool as a cucumber, just always running the show, always keeping us calm, keeping things in check. David Yu, lifelong collector, lifelong businessman, lifelong entrepreneur. Just, you can tell, hearing him talk, this man has a passion for collecting, a passion for creating great projects, and a proven track record of success in the business world. As some of you may know or may have experienced, David even gets so excited that he sometimes lets info slip that maybe either shouldn't be or could wait a little bit or isn't exactly ready yet, but you can just tell his passion, his excitement. He wants to tell us everything going on. He wants to let us know that exciting things are ahead. He's had to reel it back a little bit in the AMAs that I've watched and heard him say, but there's no shortage of expertise, of professionalism, transparency, and passion on this team. And you may have noticed I didn't mention the last two, Joseph Janik and Michael Duffy. They're not as prominent, they're not as visible in the social media, in the day-to-day Discord, AMAs type things, but these guys are masterminds of computer science, blockchain. These guys are really behind the scenes, and they're just keeping things in check, making sure they're running smoothly and innovating and just expanding on the technology. They bring in the blockchain and computer science expertise to really execute all the ideas that the other four that I mentioned, all the great ideas that they have. Moving on to the tokenomics. Now this is actually one of the first things that caught my eye besides the branding and licensing, but I actually got into Ecomi before I got into Veve because I have a crypto background. I heard about Ecomi, which led me to getting into Veve, but I found out about this entire project through the crypto world. So the tokenomics, I actually haven't touched on these just yet in any of my videos, but I think they're I think they're genius, and I think it's just great to be invested in. If you want really well done, well explained, in-depth videos on the tokenomics of Ecomi, which I highly recommend if you're invested or thinking about investing, I highly recommend watching Orion Crypto Trader on YouTube. He puts out really just well thought out, in-depth videos, and he fully explains it. I highly recommend watching him. As our friend Neb says, a unique, innovative system of burns and buybacks that will only serve to assist price action for investors as this project gathers speed and scales. We have only just begun. And he is so right. So the burns, a percentage of every NFT that is sold on the Veve app, a percentage of that gets burned. What burn means, if you don't know, it means it just gets taken out of circulation, never to be brought back. So for example, say the US dollar, say there were only a trillion ever made, say every time a transaction was made, say $1 got burned. And in this scenario, new dollars do not get printed. So every time a transaction gets made, the supply gets less and less and less. What that does is that makes the remaining dollars, that makes them more valuable because there's less of them. So in the current fiat system that we have, every currency, as far as I know, if there's a country that doesn't have inflationary currency, let me know. Every currency is inflationary because more money gets printed, more money gets created. So every time that happens, the dollars or the bills, whatever you want to call them, the ones that are pre-existing, they get less valuable because there's a bigger supply of them. With Ecomi, it's the opposite. Not only do tokens get taken out of circulation, the Ecomi team recently, about a month or two ago, they started buying back a percentage of the tokens off of exchanges so they can keep their reserve supply topped up. So not only are tokens getting burned, the Ecomi team, they're buying back tokens off the exchange, which brings upward price pressure into the market. So they're making their tokens more valuable in more than one way. Personally, every day following Ecomi token burn, following them on Twitter, seeing the token supply getting less and less, how many millions get burned each day. On drop days, it's even more crazy, especially when the price is low. That's the other thing. The lower the price, the more get burned. I can go more into this topic in future videos. I don't want to spend too much time on it because it's a really in-depth and complicated kind of topic, but it's definitely worth mentioning and definitely worth giving you guys just a baseline knowledge if you don't have any before this. The financials, a real project generating real revenue. Now I think this is really important because I've introduced my parents, my family to these projects and into crypto in general, and something that my dad really likes about Ecomi and Veve is that it's a real product. It's tangible, unlike other crypto projects that really are driven by speculation and, oh, it might be able to do this in the future, or we hope it'll do this in the future, we hope it'll serve this purpose. This is right here, right now, a project and an app that anybody can download, anybody can see, anybody can use. This is really rare in the crypto world to have a working product, let alone a working product that makes money. So I see this as much more than a crypto project, much more than an NFT project, much more than a collectible project. This is really already, from the start, getting off the ground, making money, being sustainable, and they can also show these numbers. They can also show these profits to the brands and the companies that they want to work with. And that's another enticing factor to bring new people in, new brands in, just gives them more credibility, and they're able to sustain the project, sustain the expenses, sustain the payroll, and not only that, not only sustain, but with the profit, they can expand. They can expand to marketing, they can expand to new hires, they can expand to better quality just across the board. The connections. Like I mentioned in the previous tweet about Alcon and David Yu having tons of connections with Pokemon, Nintendo, same exact thing going on here. As you can see in the top left, we have David here with the CEO of Binance, and with Ron English, other creators that they've worked with, and not only the creators and other crypto people, but like I mentioned, David Yu was the first main distributor of Pokemon cards. Alcon worked with Nintendo and Pokemon directly. Just the connections they have and the people they've worked with, they've been pitching these ideas to these companies for years now. Years before anybody, even crypto heads, knew what NFTs were. So establishing these connections early and establishing these relationships has allowed them to open up the floodgates now that they finally have their time. NFTs finally have their time and they're in the spotlight. The eco mindset. If you've been in crypto, you know that this topic Elon kind of crashed the price due to his eco concerns about crypto in general. So as a result, crypto has been down honestly ever since then, and it's just been a topic and a point of contention when it's a criticism that people have about crypto and NFTs in general. But with Veve and Ecomi, that goes out the window. They are environmentally friendly blockchain and they're carbon neutral. So that is nothing to worry about with this project, with this team, and it's just another criticism that people cannot use when they're talking about this project, at least. So I think this really sets them over the top, not that they already weren't, but this is just one extra thing added on that is more enticing and will be able to bring in more consumers and more licenses. The communication. I've already talked about the staff, how transparent and open they are, but now I can really focus on it for this tweet. I've never seen a project so transparent, so open to suggestions, criticism, anything. Every week they go on Discord, they fill in with Medium articles about the progress for the week, for the month. All the main staff I talked about, Reese, Dan, David, they're always tweeting. David's Instagram is a really good source of info if you didn't know that. Follow him at DavidUNZ. He responds to I think every comment, if not most of them, and he just posts what's coming up. He's posted some Star Trek NFTs. So we already knew that was coming, but we've seen examples of that. He drops in comments. That's how people found out about the Jaws poster for Comic-Con. That wasn't originally in the Medium article, but he tweeted it as part of his Instagram post. And that's how people saw it. It later got updated. Things like that. For how big they're growing, for the licenses that they work with, they could just have that speak for itself, but they went above and beyond. And they keep us informed, they keep us updated, and if you want to know info, you can immediately find it out because anybody can go on Discord and ask any question, and they're there in person to answer you. Seeing how transparent they are really makes me that much more confident in this project, being an investor, because I feel like there'll be no surprises thrown at me, and I feel like I know what to expect. And if you want to take the time to do the digging and do the research, they're always dropping little info, little nuggets of info that could help you make more informed decisions and a more informed investment. The passion. I've touched on this before, so I won't harp on it for too long, but as you can see in this photo of David, just look how happy he is. He's a lifelong collector, lifelong businesses involved with collecting. It really shows, and it shows in their communication, it shows in their product, it shows in their work ethic. You can tell when something's done right and when someone really cares about what they're putting out, and there is no shortage of that with this team and with this project. Everything they put out, they make a point to make it premium, make it the highest quality possible. They don't want us to ever be buying some half-baked, half-done stuff. The PR partners. Rogers & Cohen PMK, I believe Forbes ranked them either the most powerful PR firm in the US, if not the top 5 in the world, if not both. I know, regardless, they are very, very, very well known, very established, very credible. Whenever I have any kind of doubts about a decision the team's making, some strategy, obviously they know way more than me, so I can't talk too much, but whenever I have doubts come up in my head, like, will this be as good as it sounds, or is this really gonna work out? I always think back to Rogers & Cohen PMK, because this is a world-class, literally world-class PR firm. And Reese had said a while ago that they're fully in swing with their plan. They're fully in swing working with Ecomi and Veve. So just knowing that they have a world-class team that focuses on PR, that just makes me so confident because they're the professionals, they're established, they work with the most famous brands and actors, just people, celebrities in general, and I just really trust them, and I trust that they're putting Veve and Ecomi on the right path. The fan bases. So I know I was fully expecting with Comic-Con, I'm sure a lot of you guys were, I was fully expecting Comic-Con to be a breakthrough moment for Veve and Ecomi, where all these people, as you can see on the bottom of this picture, we have some Harley Quinns, some Batmans. I was fully expecting all of these people, these mega fans, to be exposed to Veve and just jump on it and love it. And I still think that would have happened if it wasn't for that hiccup. Regardless, Veve's time is going to come where these fans get exposed and these fans start joining in. So for me, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So I think the Comic-Con metaverse getting canceled, I think that just delayed the inevitable. And I'm happy to have more coins get burned. I'm happy to be able to buy in at lower prices. So to me, it's fine. But when these huge mega fan bases find out about Veve, keep in mind, the majority, I don't know this for a fact, but it just seems this way, the majority of people in this project have come from crypto. So when these mega fan bases join, these super fans, I feel like they're going to take this to the next level. And big collectors too, not only fans. There are some collectors who will drop big money to have exclusive or rare or first editions of their favorite characters. The heart. As Neb explains, 1 billion Omi tokens got donated to help environmental nonprofits fundraise, and of course a partnership with DaVinci to raise money for the LGBTQ organization. So I think this kind of falls into the same kind of category of the eco-friendly greenness, that I think this is just the icing on the cake to bring in more consumers and more licenses to really go all in on this project and really feel confident that they're investing in a eco-friendly, supportive, open-minded, tolerant company that doesn't have to worry about some bad PR decisions or bad PR, being bigoted or hateful, ignorant. You are not going to find that with this project, and the examples that our friend Neb gave really illustrate that. The responsiveness. I would file this under the communication category, but nonetheless, it stands on its own and is true. As Neb explains, they fixed clock gate, they added CAPTCHAs, and they randomized mins. These were all things that people were asking for, and personally, I think all these things are great. I think they're all great improvements. Not only do they make the improvements, they make them quickly. They really don't waste any time. They really prioritize what the community is asking for and what are the biggest problems in the community, and they take the feedback, they're responsive, and they implement it as soon as they can. It doesn't take months to do updates or months to get back to you. They are on the ball. They are ready to make any kind of corrections that the people ask for, and that will make their app better. And if you think about, if they keep up this responsiveness and they keep up this willingness to accept criticism or suggestions, this app is used and run by the community. So if the community is guiding its growth, that we know what we like and what we don't like. So when we're guiding the growth of this and it grows and evolves with our wants and interests, I think it'll make for a great fan experience, a great consumer experience, and it'll just make it better overall for everybody. The blockchain. The current blockchain we're on, GoChain, I don't want to hate, but just being real, it's not the best. I never heard of it until I heard about Veve and Ecomi. I'm almost positive no one else has that's involved in this. It's pretty small, pretty obscure, not well known. They've even had trouble getting it onto exchanges because not many exchanges have even a single GoChain node that they can run to support the Ecomi token. So that's been causing holdups in getting Ecomi listed onto new exchanges. So as you can see in the tweet, we are moving to Immutable X soon, which is on the Ethereum blockchain, which is the most popular, the most well-known, the most trusted blockchain in the world. I think not enough people are really emphasizing this fact of the move to Immutable X, and I'm gonna make a video specifically about this move, but I think this will be one of the biggest improvements that we see to Veve and Ecomi, because this will open up the door, this will open up the exposure to so many people. Right now, think about how hard it is to get Ecomi. I've even told friends who are experienced with crypto, been in it for years, I've told them how to do it through Bitforex or any other exchange, and they say it's too complicated, they say it's too many hoops to jump through. So that's people who have experience with crypto. Imagine people who are already intimidated by the crypto world. They'll see, oh, I have to go on this website that I've never used before and send money to different exchanges and convert it to this and that. the vast majority of people will not want to do that or not feel comfortable doing that. So the move to Immutable X will open up the door to beyond every major exchange. Every exchange has plenty of Ethereum nodes. I think this move will really be a big boost, a big thrust in the progress and the movement of this project. Community engagement. There's all kinds of prizes, competitions. We got the Veve art show, we had the meme competition. There's always something going on, whether it's fan-made or whether it's put on by the team. Either way, there's always something going on that gives people a way to interact with their collectibles, interact with the community, put their collectibles to use, and just be creative. And I think digital collecting is going to open the door to so much creativity, whether it be pictures, whether it be videos. I know Cavell Anderson, shout out to him by the way, he always talks about when there's a good video tool in the app, when people start making TikToks or TikTok type videos, little short skits and movies, that'll really put Ecomi and the collectibles out there for more people to see, more people to get interested. So I think doing these events, letting people show off their creativity, letting them show off their collectibles in a cool and fun way that everybody can enjoy, I think it's just great for the growth and great for the exposure for the project. And it just makes being in this community all the more fun, all the more engaging, and just an overall much better experience to be in. The exchanges, or lack thereof. Like I just mentioned, when we move to Immutable X, that's going to open the door for every exchange in the world. And I have no doubt, Dan even said that they have about 4 or 5 major exchanges lined up for by the end of the year. And I can't even name 5 major exchanges myself, so I'm assuming they're moving into different countries, something like that. But 4 or 5 major exchanges, that's more than enough to get tons of exposure and open up the market to millions and millions more people. I think the exchanges, or the lack of exchanges, people aren't talking about enough or putting enough weight in. I think when we get on these exchanges, it's going to open up a whole new door. Pandora's box will be open. The user experience. I know when I got my first ever Veve collectible, Ultraman Ace, I know it was cool to get it and exciting to get it, but actually putting him in AR, I enjoyed it even more than I expected to. And then it made me want to get more and more collectibles to see, oh, how would this look in AR? Oh, if I had this collectible, I could make it look like he's doing this, or I could put them together and do this. The user experience, there's so much to do, so much creativity, and with Showroom Volume 2 coming out, and I'm sure they'll add a bunch of new features to go along with that, it'll make being creative, it'll make taking pictures and videos, just showing off your collectibles in any way, it'll make it that much easier, and that will lead to that many more possibilities for creation. I know I have so much fun using this app, and whenever I'm out and about, walking around, out running errands, on vacation, I always love to drop down some collectibles at a cool spot for a picture. It's really nice, side point, it's really nice having your entire collection in your pocket as opposed to physical collecting. If you wanted to put these physical collectibles down somewhere, you need to lug them around all the time. But what I think is great about digital collecting, and what will be a big thing for people to latch onto, is just the fact that you have your entire collection in your pocket and you can take it with you anywhere. User experience, so much fun, effing fun, as Neb would say. That's going to lead to a lot of people sticking around and continuing to use the app, continuing to buy from the market, more burns, everything ties together. It's all great. I'm just now realizing after seeing this picture that Trevor was not shown or mentioned at the start of this, but he is definitely a key factor in this team, and he's the head of development of the collectibles. And the quality of these, as Neb says, keep getting better and better. When they redid their rendering engine for the graphics, that really leveled up all these collectibles, and they look so good in AR. I really encourage you guys to look at, if you haven't looked at a few collectibles in your collection for a while, I would recommend going back and putting them in AR and seeing how crisp and how clean they look. These just look so good. They make improvements, as you can see in the picture of Slimer. On the left was the original Slimer that didn't get approved by Sony. They had to kind of redo it, make it look better. And the right is the finished product, where we see he's transparent, he glows more, just looks better and cooler overall. With this team and with this project, you will never ever get half done work. You will always have the highest quality, and they will not put anything out that they don't think is perfect. And I think that goes a long way. Everybody might not notice those details, but I think subconsciously that's such a big detail that really draws people in and keeps them around and keeps them coming. The future. We are well on our way to metaverses, wearables, AR and VR applications. That means that these collectibles will have much more utility, they'll be much more sought after, and there will be tons of new ways to interact with these collectibles. We haven't even scratched the surface of what's possible in AR, VR, metaverses. Judging off the quality of the collectibles and the quality of everything else that Veve and Ecomi put out, I have no doubt that the Veveverse will be just as well done and just as polished. So as of right now, we think it's super cool to put these in our room, put these outside, but I think we'll look back on this time as we look back on those huge cell phones. It will just look so outdated, and we'll be tripping out at the fact that we thought just being able to put down a static collectible in AR, we'll be tripping that we thought that was so cool when we see you put on glasses and everybody's collectibles are flying around in the world, however it'll work out. One thing I do want to say though, and this might burst a few people's bubbles, but I think that this Veveverse, metaverse, AR, VR type of stuff, I think is a little bit farther out than people maybe anticipate or that they expect. I know they said the Veveverse is coming later this year, which I don't doubt, but I think the extent of what people are picturing, such as Ready Player One, I think that's many, many years out. I don't think people should be fully expecting a fully interactive metaverse where you can interact with everything and walk around as your collectibles and interact with other collectibles. I think we should give that time, and I would just say be cautious. Don't bank on the fact that there's going to be metaverses and wearables and VR. Proceed with caution, and I think that this technology is still very, very new, and it will be a while until it becomes, first of all, accessible to everybody, and second of all, well done enough to where people will actually want to be in it, will actually want to be in the metaverse, because it has to really draw people in. There's already so many other video games, consoles, technology that get people's attention, that this will need to be really, really well done and really advanced to really keep people coming in and draw them in the first place. So I would just say temper your expectations with the AR, VR, metaverse type stuff, and just don't bank on it all that much, in my opinion. It's not necessarily that you shouldn't bank on it, I just think it's gonna come later than people expect. The Kiwi factor. Now, I can't speak on this too much being from the States, but according to Neb, every single thing that comes out of New Zealand is amazing. There is, however, a definite humble and understated Kiwi vibe to the way this team has gotten to the point, in his opinion. And I can't speak on it all that much, but hey, we see the quality, we see the passion, we see how much we all love this project, so he might be onto something. And lastly, on to number 20, the Omi fam. The passion and enthusiasm generated by this community for this project is staggering. The individuals running their own giveaways, the community-led initiatives like the Veve Art Show, the support given to each other, the cross-promoting of content creators, the love is real. Now, I can personally speak on this. I've loved being in this community. I've never really latched on to an internet community before all that much, but I follow everybody that has a red circle on their name. I love interacting with people. I never even met any of these people, but they're just so supportive. They're so creative. It's just a great community to be a part of, and it's just a lot of fun. It adds so much than just the cool project. If you, for some reason, thought that the passion from the team wasn't enough, the community more than enough puts it over the top. And I can speak personally that it's the support and the love from the community that really inspired me to make my own channel, knowing that I wouldn't get a bunch of haters on here, or just the fact that I know other content creators would support me if I did this. So thank you to this great community for helping me take this leap of faith and starting this YouTube channel, which I never thought that I would be doing. But it's been great. I can't wait to grow this channel more so I can interact with more of you guys. So there you have it. That's 20 Reasons to Love Veve and Ecomi by Neb Natram. Again, big shout out to him. Follow him on Twitter. He posts great Veve and Ecomi content. Couldn't have made this video without him. Thanks for the inspiration. And it was a lot of fun giving my thoughts and my opinions and getting excited about this project with you guys. Since there were 20 things, I just wanted to briefly touch on each thing and give kind of the most important info from that topic that I thought. And I just can't wait to touch on all these topics with you guys. Can't wait to make these videos. I got so many ideas to talk about, so stay tuned. Thanks for listening. This has been NFT Flenny. I'll see you guys next time.